Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new here, thanks so much for joining us. We are all here sharing this human experience together. I do things differently here on this channel, so there might be triggering statements that do arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint for our journey to healing. If the messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And your time, your energy, and your presence are a true gift and a blessing. So today we are going into the tea you need. It was a channel message that I received, and it came in so strongly. I was getting some messages coming through right away. And that is that something massive is about to shift for you. You have basically opened up Pandora's box. And this could be in regards to a situation. This could be in regards to a person. This could be in regards to just something that's happening in your life. So we'll definitely look deeper into that in each individual pile. But we'll also see what comes out in the collective message as well, okay? So we are going to be using the Sacred Rebels Oracle by Alana Fairchild. Let's start with your prayer so we can open up this reading to love and light. And then we'll go ahead and shuffle and get that collective message underway for you, okay? All right. The tea you need. It's just funny how it came out. I love when that happens. Some of those channel messages are really strong and powerful. I keep hearing there's a rat. There's a rat in your energy. Okay. Let's get into it, Source. Let's get into it. My beloved Source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading. Today I ask that you help us align with our internal strength. Some of us are struggling. We're going through some really, really tough times. We're going through some really unique and frustrating times too. And we're not sure what to do. We're not sure how to act. We're not sure how to show up. And we're doing the best that we can to control ourselves. For that is truthfully the only thing that we have on this journey, is how we show up ourselves. And sometimes people make it so hard, Source. Sometimes circumstances make it so hard. And I feel this frustration across the collective right now. I feel this heaviness in the heart chakra that just, we want peace. We want freedom. We're asking for peace and freedom. And we know that that's already ours in this moment, and that we are colliding with other universal cosmos as we go about our day and as we are inviting people in. But today I ask that you just help us tap into that internal strength, the resolve that sits within our core, knowing that no matter what is unfolding and unfurling around us, that we are able and capable of attending to ourselves, our emotional needs, our spiritual needs, our mental needs, and our physical needs. And that no is a complete sentence, and it is okay to use it when it is necessary for us to draw back into ourselves. May we be radically honest with ourselves at this time and not worry about whose feelings we're hurting by choosing ourselves, but rather knowing that it is okay for us to open the door to self-love, self-care, self-respect, and self-love. As these words are spoken upon this tribe in this here, now, here moment, so shall they be. Amen. Aho, Hase. Thank you, my beloved Source. Thank you. Yeah, there's a really, really heavy energy across the collective. I've definitely been feeling it myself for the last few days. And I do feel like there's a shift that's coming. But let's get into this reading. The tea you need. All right. The tea you need. What oracle card is going to help us better understand this message today, Source? The tea you need. Yeah, there's a struggle of being ourselves right now. So I do feel like we're crossing some thresholds right now. Pile 1, the tea you need. What oracle card is going to help us better understand the message for you today, Pile 1? The tea you need. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Source. All right. Pile number 2, the tea you need. Source, what oracle card will help us better understand this message today for pile 2? That one. Thank you. All right, Source. Pile 3, the tea you need. Source, what oracle card will help us better understand this message today for pile 3? Thank you. Right away. All right, so let's see what we got on the bottom of the deck. I love this. We've got the number 21 card, Beyond the Mind, the Heart Beats. So this is us getting out of our mind, okay? And the tea that we need right now is that no matter the hardships that are unfolding, there's a lot of things that are happening around you. There's family issues, there's friends issues, there's new beginnings that are unfolding, there's worries about situations that are happening, money, there's worries about maybe travel, there's worries about health. There's worries about speaking our truth and being clear about how we're speaking our truth. There are a lot of worries that are coming in here. And I love this image because it's saying like there's a lot of our cosmos we're bumping into each other. And that's exactly what I'm getting from this image here. It's like we're seeing everybody that's bumping into one another. You know, it's something that's happening within our lives, right? It's something that we're all going through, and it's something that we're all experiencing. We cannot control another person that we run into. We cannot make them see life from our perspective. We cannot make them see who we are even. But we're fighting for that. And with Beyond the Mind, the Heart Beats, it's about getting out of our mind and back into our body and understanding what our heart wants and going towards it and giving ourselves permission. So the tea you need is giving yourself permission, regardless of where another person's coming from. I just feel like right now, the collective is really bogged down by other people's energy, the dynamics that are unfolding right now, the arguments that are happening. There's a very heavy energy that's been coming in of someone who's been trying to bait you into an argument or trying to bait you into getting you to blow up so that they can show everybody that they're the calm ones. It's just very narcissistic energy, very manipulative energy. There's also a very heavy situation at hand where maybe some of you are struggling financially, or some of you are struggling with trying to take the next step in your own personal lives. And there's this worry about how are things going to unfold, right? And the image that I'm getting from this is that while all of that is important and all of that matters and all of that definitely has its place, right now it's vital for you to come back to a place of stillness and asking your heart what it desires and knowing that moving towards that desire is where you will find support. And it's not about asking why, when, where, what, and how. Like, it's not really for us to know all of those answers. It's really just for us to know what our heart wants and go towards that and allow things to unfold. Now, I'm not saying to quit your job and to put yourself in an even more stressful situation, but making space and time for you to show up for these things, whatever they are, making space and time to show up for this person, making space and time to show up for this circumstance, whatever it is that you are feeling drawn to right now. Because what Source is trying to remind you is that life is chaos. Creation and destruction are both chaos, right? They're not separate from one another. They both require a ton of energy in order to move, right? Think about it, destruction. Think about when they destroy a building, right? Like how they do that, and they put the explosives on there, especially if it's like a skylight or something like that, and they have to blow it up in a certain in a certain sequence so that it'll fall straight down and not just topple onto other buildings, right? So that's a lot of energy. It's destructive. It's chaotic, but it's like organized chaos. And then creation is the same thing, you know. Even when we build something from the ground up, there's some sort of structure that has to become sound in order to hold what it is that we're trying to put onto that. So whether that's a car, a building, a business, a lifestyle, a new habit, a new way of thinking, a new way of being, like all of these things are requiring structure right now. But it's about finding peace in the chaos so that the structures themselves can unfold. And that's what I'm feeling right now. And so let's see what more this card says. Like I said, with this is just a general for the collective energy that we're tapping into. But as for each individual pile, we're going to dig in a little bit more about what the tea you need, right? So whether that's a person, place, or thing that's coming through, we're going to find out some more about that. It says with the very first line here, in the chaos of modern life and constant fluctuations in our minds. The first line here. What a powerful message. It can be difficult to remember that a sublime sanctuary lies within, yet it is always there. Beneath the ceaseless activity, there is an endless, vast spaciousness that restores and connects us to something greater, something that exists outside of time. Some might call it eternity. Within the sanctuary, sacred sound is felt rather than heard. That sacred sound that is actually the reverberating heartbeat of the entire universe. Your own heart's rhythm sounds within the greater universal heartbeat. The totality of life, all of your being can be felt as one, though through listening to and feeling for the sacred sound of the heart beating within you. It is through this heartbeat that we experience a love that is more than preference or attachment. This is a love that inspires, energizes, and moves us to create, even beyond what we once thought was possible. Your love for life and the need to feel alive and express yourself, and the quest for that which is truly fulfilling. These are the sacred urges that rebel against fear and promote passion for being alive. They flow through your blood and can be felt through the beating of your heart. This oracle has a message for you. There is the way of the mind, which can make mountains out of molehills, even when it thinks it's turning mountains into molehills. Then there is the way of the heart. It is the subterranean, and it moves subtly beneath the possible obstacles, intelligently shifting with exquisite sensitivity, sensing the way forward through dangerous pathways and responding to what is before it even occurs in the physical world. However, with the heart's intelligence, we cannot see and know in the same way that we do when we allow the mind to direct us. We have to open to another way if we want to benefit from the innate intelligence of the heart. The mind sees, plans, and strategizes. The heart feels, responds, senses, and intuits. When we walk the path of the heart, we must feel and respond rather than plan our way. It is a different way to live and create. It is closer to the earth and to the source of life itself. It is not for those who are lacking in courage and trust, but you are not one of those. You are being asked to trust your heart and to drop into it. The mind is important, but it cannot supplant the heart. The role of the mind is to serve the truths of the heart. That is, to create the spacious chamber of receptiveness into which the sacred rhythm of your heartbeat can resound. Deep within you, you know what to do, and you know what is true. It matters not whether the mind and its plans seem to agree with your inner sense. Your willingness to trust your heart and to rebel against your fear will serve you well. Let your heart lead you. Be sure of your faith and trust in what you feel. Yeah, so this is about coming out of the mind. So I feel like the chaos has the collective in a state of panic right now. And we've stopped being present with what our heart wants, and we've been really sensitive and tuned into what's going on outside of us beyond our control. And so beyond the mind, the heart beats. This is just that reminder that that wisdom lies within us. And that all we have to do is come into that stillness to tap in, and it will always serve us well. Okay, so what a powerful message for the collective. Now, with these dice, I did pick zodiac dice. And this is just another option to choose from. Okay, so if you're drawn to it because you are Cancer, which is the sign that we got, that is perfectly fine. But if you're not, just know that that doesn't mean that it's not for you. Okay. So for pile number 1, we do have this dice, the second house, to choose from. Or we have this carnelian sacral chakra gemstone with the seed sound VAM on it. Pile number 2, we have this dice with Cancer on it. And just another option to choose from. It's not just for Cancers. This can be for anybody, okay? We have the Jade Heart Chakra gemstone with the seed sound YAM on it. Pile 3, we have this dice with the moon on it. We have this lapis lazuli third eye chakra gemstone with the seed sound AUM, which is AUM on it. AUM. So pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, and whichever pile you feel called to, that should be the one for you. I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with the second house on it, or perhaps you felt called to this carnelian sacral chakra gemstone with the seed sound VAM on it, or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your reading, the tea you need. We're all here sharing this human experience together. And I do things differently here on this channel. So there might be triggering statements that do arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint to our journey for healing. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. If these messages happen to resonate with you, it'd mean the world to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe below. And please know that your time, your energy, and your presence are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm deeply honored to be here sharing it with you today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out what's the tea you need. The tea you need, pile number 1. The tea you need. Okay. So we've got the third house. We've got Virgo energy, and we've got Jupiter. And I'm leaving it up to source. This was a channeled message, so this could be regarding a shift in your life. This could be regarding a person in your life, a circumstance in your life. So there, whatever it is that source is bringing through. Now, it's interesting because I'm getting there's somebody here that's trying to perfect manifestation and abundance. Could be you. Doesn't have to be. They've got it in their mind, though, that like it feels like this is someone separate from you. They've got it in their mind that if they can do it better than you, then they'll have something over you. They're seeing and watching you become this very abundant person. They're watching you glow up. They're watching you stay humble. They're watching you stay kind to people around you. They're also watching as you're exploring new avenues to gain further knowledge on your journey. And this is somebody who wants to be perfect, either to come back into your life, or they want to be perfect as a means to hold it over your head. Like, oh, haha, I did better than you. I'm better than you. Like, you're never going to do it like I can. And, you know, they're trying to make it into a competition, but they're not even focusing really truly on their journey. And it feels like for some of you, this could be a labeled relationship. So we're talking that this could be like a divine masculine or divine feminine who they want to perfect their journey of manifestation before they come back to you, because they feel like that's the only way that they're going to be good enough. And that is just for a select few. But the reason that they're doing that is because they see you on a pedestal. They've put you on this pedestal and they don't feel like they're good enough. And they don't feel like they'll ever be good enough to present themselves unless they've perfected this art of manifestation. And that means having a lot of money, having stability in their life, maybe getting a different position, building a business, or whatever this is. But a lot of these people, whomever they are to you, they're watching you create a life that is free and a life that is filled with a sense of purpose. And that fulfillment is something that people crave, right? They crave having a use. And even if people are like, oh no, you know, everybody wants a purpose, but the point of having a purpose is to feel like we're of use. Like there's a reason that we're here. And we give that purpose to ourselves. Like that's something we choose along the way when we uncover what our passions are, when we feel like we know exactly what we want to do, right? That's when we have a sense of fulfillment. And that's what's unfolding right now, is that there's people who are watching you unfold to your passions, and it's becoming something that's undeniably the route that you want to take. And there is also gossip that is around that as well. I mean, we are talking about the tea you need, right? So that can definitely include gossip. But it's this energy that they don't want you to succeed because they're either saying negative things about you, or they just never believed in you like that, or because they have you on a pedestal and they want to be the first ones to get to the top, not for nefarious means and not even for being duplicitous. This is just because they want to be able to support you the way that they feel like you deserve to be supported. Okay. But let's dig in a little bit deeper. Let's kind of get to this nitty gritty, the tea you need for pile one, source. The tea you need, pile one. So this could be family. This could be someone that's in your network. This could be someone that you work with. This could be, yeah, so networking and family here. I do feel like if it's family, this is somebody who's incredibly jealous of your ability to connect with other people, and how even if you're not in a boss position, you always come across like a very fearless leader. And it's because you're not looking for people to approve of you. And this person is like, they want to be approved of. They want to be seen as a leader. They want to be seen as a savior in some instances here. And they've created, it feels like they've created a lot of hardships for you. So no matter who this person is, there's definitely pain and suffering that's attached to this because of the way that they've shown up in your life. Whoa. Even the ones that have placed you on a pedestal, because I do feel like there's silence here. There's like a sense of ghosting, an essence of ghosting that's happening here. Yeah. Okay. So it wants to be like this. Bottom of the deck. Yeah. The knowledge you're receiving, it blows people away. Like you're always growing. You're always learning. You're always expanding your resources. And I feel like that comes from maybe some of you really truly enjoy learning, right? Like you just really love learning as much as you can. for others of you, it's because when you find a passion, like, you're going to just go all in, right? You're going to find out as much as you can about that passion. It's not like we reach a certain level and then we're like, oh, okay, that's it. That's enough, right? Because that level always elicits a need for more. And so that's the thing here. This person is watching you peacefully collect little bits of gold, little nuggets of gold on your journey, nuggets of wisdom, and sharing those with others and being very comfortable with what you've gained throughout the journey itself and how you're showing up. Yeah, you share that with others. Very balanced energy here with you, very emotionally sound, capable of creating a balanced mind and heart and a balanced physical situation as well. Like whether that's money or your housing or your job or your car, what you own physically in the world, like you're able to take care of yourself. You're able to give back to yourself. You're able to show yourself that love and that care. And while you're also in this place of truly seeing yourself from balance and no longer holding on to the old, right? You've come into this very balanced emotional state. And I feel like you know who this is. Yeah, see, there's definitely some sort of dissolution here. Some sort of breakup, if you will. Some sort of separation with the Three of Coins in the reverse. Okay. Okay. I didn't want it to be nefarious, but now we've got some nefarious energy here. Someone who is very, very foolish in their way of approaching you. There's a lot of anger in the way that this person approached you. There's a lot of passion behind the way that this person approached you as well. And I feel like that passion translated into control, and that passion translated into overwhelm. And for you, you had to look at this situation from outside of the box, or you're in the process of doing that. Like you've been pouring yourself into what it is that you love, right? Especially with the Hermit energy here. It's like you've been really pouring yourself, isolating yourself even to gather the information you need, to gather what you need to move forward. And that could also include stopping giving this person so much energy and really just looking at their actions. Like, how are they showing up? How are they treating you? How are they, what kind of energy are they bringing to the situation? But with the Three of Coins here, it does feel like there's some sort of, again, this could be a separation. This could be something where you had to walk away. Right? It's a dissolution of a partnership. Like if we just look at the base meaning of the Three of Coins, it's a dissolution of a partnership. But this can talk about so much more, right? It just does feel like there's some sort of shift in your relationship with them. So where maybe you were more gentle and compassionate towards them, you've now had to change and become a lot more distant and cold. Where maybe once you were inviting and welcoming, you've now shut the door and said no more, right? Like, so there's definitely this shift in the connection itself. And it's because you're seeing that this person isn't aligned with you with the Fool in the reverse. And that's the thing. It's like Source wants to remind you that when you take the time and space to quietly align, then all of this will be shown to you very clearly. There's a lot of anger here, though. I cannot make this up. The anger that's coming through is very palpable. And so there could be even anger from you, which is definitely warranted, right? But I do feel like this person is angry at you. There's a lot of resentment that's coming in, and that resentment is definitely guiding this person to how they're acting towards you and what it is that they're saying to you and what it is that they are trying to garner from this situation, because I do feel like they're trying to manipulate you for some sort of reason. But if you notice, this person is also expecting you to be like someone you were from the past, and you're not. You're not. You've moved into the present moment, and you're no longer that person who was a people pleaser before, and you're no longer that person who respected this person's opinion over your own, right? Where these are things that could have happened along the way. And this person is still trying to create an unbalanced situation from an already severed situation. I do feel like there's a severing here. Okay, and like I said, I didn't feel nefarious energy with the dice, but with the Fool coming out in the reverse, there's definitely some foolish energy here, okay? Somebody who is like, you know, I'm hearing that, what is it? Only Fools Rush In, that song. What is that song? I don't remember who sings that, but yeah, Only Fools Rush In. There's this energy where it's also somebody who is trying to elicit childish reaction from you. This is somebody who is trying to gain the upper hand by being an idiot, basically. Like, they're trying to play the idiot here, but they're baiting you into certain circumstances. And it's like, okay, if I can bait pile one into arguing with me, and then I can back off and play the calm, cool, and collected person, then I win. So the the energy and the example that they're giving me here is like someone cheated on you, and I know this is hard to deal with, right? And no one deserves that. But this would be like someone cheated on you, and then you were like hurt, obviously, by that, right? There's a lot of suffering that comes from being cheated on, and there's a lot of pain that's tied to that. There's a lot of betrayal that comes with that. And you're just trying to talk to them about that, you know, like, you're telling me you're miserable, and the reason you cheated on me was because you were miserable, but you never contacted me, you never communicated with me, you never told me how you felt about our relationship. You just opened the door for someone else to come in, and then they kick you out of their lives, or you kick them out of your lives, and then it's like there's still no clear-cut communication, but then they come back and they're like expecting you to still be the person that you were when they were with you and before they had betrayed you. And you can't go back to that once the trust has been broken, right? So there's definitely a feeling of trust being broken here, pile one. And they're like trying to bait you back into that, where it's like, but you're the one that cheated on me, right? And it doesn't have to be cheating, but this is the type of energy that it is. It's like they're saying, you know, oh, well, but I'm not the one that's in the wrong here. You are, pile one. And that's not the truth at all. Like, they're trying to make you feel guilty about something that they did. And that's the thing. And I feel like this is why now you're in this hermit energy. And that's also why you're focused on your passion, is because when you pour into your passion, you're realizing like it makes you untouchable. And that's what Source is reminding you. And so if you haven't done that yet, this is Source's green light to start really pouring into what it is that you find that Zen energy from. So where you lose time, or where you feel really good about what it is that you're doing, where you feel really aligned, right? Like pouring into that. And that's going to help give you some clues as to what this person is doing. It does feel like a person here, and this person is not in their aligned energy. Like, they're definitely coming from an old type of energy. They're coming from an old expectation. And they're very wishy-washy. This person is yes and no. They're yes, then they're no. They're hot, then they're cold. They're in and they're out. They're up and they're down. Right? Like, they're all over the place. And they want you to be in that chaotic energy too. Because when you've been in that chaotic energy, they were able to get away with whatever they got away with because they left you confused. And that's what Source is saying. You're not in a place of confusion anymore. So like when they're trying to bait you, when they're trying to argue with you, when they're trying to manipulate you, you're seeing that clearly now. It's because you're balancing out your energy. Yeah, this affected your health. This affected your daily routines. This has affected you in a lot of different ways with the 6th house here. Establishing a foundation, health, daily life, and practical details. You might resonate with the collective message, pile one, and that's timestamped down below in the description box. So if you feel called to that, there's no obligation to see that. But if you feel called to that, you'll find the timestamp down below. But there's this energy where it's like you have had to reestablish yourself after a period of chaos with this person, after a period of hurt and pain with this person. And you had to find a daily routine that was going to better serve you moving forward. And this person is now, they're seeing that and they're trying to they're trying to disrupt it here. Keep feeling that. The disruptor, the disruptor. Why do I hear that from Big Bang when Sheldon has to retract one of his papers from Kripke? Is that his name? Kripke? The guy that always, when he says his R's, he says them as W's. And I remember he's sitting there and he's always baiting Sheldon, and Sheldon falls for it every time because he's Sheldon. And I remember when he's like, oh, you retracted your statement, you retracted your essay or whatever it was. And Kripke would come by the office and he's like, I'm the retractor. And he would always say it over and over and just make Sheldon mad. And that's the reason why this is coming through, is because that's what it feels like. Like, that's what this person does. Like, they're calling you the retractor. But it's like something that's near and dear to you, or something that they feel like they can manipulate you on to get you to lash back out at them so that they feel like they have the upper hand, right? Assistance with access. It is necessary to ask for and accept help in order to receive it. So you're being given a key to your heart here, right? And this is like listening to your heart. Yeah, you guys might definitely resonate with the collective message. That's a really symbolic energy here. But this energy, it's like, this is what your heart wants. It's like learning to lean on that and know that that is assistance, that asking your guides is assistance, and asking for people around you that you trust, that you love, that are supportive. They're going to help you as well. And leaning into that assistance right now, that's going to help you stay balanced. But this person is kind of going wild. Let's see what archetype this person's in right now. Source, can you give us an archetype for this person that pile number 1 is dealing with? Okay, let's have one more. Because I do feel like this is funny that this is coming out. We have the angel energy on the bottom. Yeah, I knew this card was going to come out, and it came out. Okay, so this is the contrast that we have. You're the angel, you're the earth angel, you're the light being, you're the starseed, you're the person here that's bringing this love and this light, and they're a vampire. They're an energetic vampire here. Say, you're helping those in need with no expectation of return. The shadow is acting innocent or angelic to mislead others, falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. So this first line, acting innocent or angelic to mislead others. This is what they've been doing to you. And I feel like they definitely got their way a few times, but you're realizing something much more. The light attribute here makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force, and the shadow is depleting others for your psychic survival, chronic complaining, and codependency. You know, this could be someone who, this is also coming through. It's like they expect you to just know what they need, right? Like, they're so important that they never have to vocalize what it is that they need. So if they need help, they just expect you to know what they need help with. But it's like, look, that some people feel like that's a love language. Like, you just knowing what I need is you loving me. Like they really believe that that's a love language. And then they get mad when you can't figure it out because, hello, we're not mind readers. All right, I know telepathy does exist, but also that's just not something to rely on to understand or to navigate someone else's emotional well-being or their emotional insecurities. And it's like, this could be that type of person as well, where they expect you to know how they're feeling. And while you probably already do pile 1. You probably already know how they're feeling. You probably know exactly what it is that they need. You probably intuitively know exactly what it is that would help keep the situation at bay if it were. But it's not your problem. That's not your problem to carry them in that way. And maybe that's why they're expecting you to be that energy from the past as well. Because before, they never had to say and they never had to vocalize. Like, you just stood up and took care of them in that way. And that's not love. That's manipulation. And that's why the energetic vampire energy came out. Yeah. So Junos, find your true love. Okay. So this could be someone that's keeping you from finding your true love, like trying to make it a competition here, right? Also, this could be what's been blocking you from finding your true passion here with the key to the heart. So something about the key to the heart, again, especially with this very symbolic to you. Okay, this is the key to unlocking what it is that your heart wants, is understanding that this person is not your responsibility. No one is your true responsibility except for you, pile one. You are your responsibility. And that's the only thing that you need moving forward. Look at this, perseverance flying out. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. You have perseverance. You're going to be able to make it through this, but your perseverance is not including carrying them on your shoulders. Okay. Bottom of the deck, health. Again, this has affected your health. Exhaustion, depletion, burnout, mental drained, like mentally drained, emotionally drained, spiritually drained. Depression is coming in. CPTSD is coming in. This could be triggering manic. This could be triggering signs of NPD or BPD within you. Okay, so there's things that are getting triggered here. There's things that are super difficult that you're going through with this person, and that's why it's important for you to focus on yourself. I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. If you do have some sort of diagnosis and this person knows that, they're definitely trying to push the envelope here. Okay, I feel like one more wants to come out here. Okay, thank you. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, trust, sincerity, respect, carefulness, and support. Right now, it's about finding the people you trust. And if you don't have people that you trust, you know, is there a way for you to find a community of like-minded people, or getting connected with a therapist or some sort of support system like that? Even a hotline, right? Like a support hotline, something along those lines. Like, there are definitely options for you, pile one. Okay. So this could be an Aries that you're dealing with. This could be an Aries, someone who has Mars in Capricorn, Mars in Leo. This could be a Virgo, a Gemini, or a Sagittarian. Yeah, so we have independence, bravery, and passion. So again, coming back to that passion, reconnecting with your passion is so vital to your health at this time. Neptune, dream and transcend. This is a very foggy, cloudy, confusing situation that you're in right now. And this is, there's a lot, again, that guilt, there's a lot of guilt that's coming through where someone's trying to make you feel guilty for not attending to their emotional well-being. It is not your job. That is not your responsibility. They have a responsibility to take care of their own emotional situations the same that you do. And a good way to look at it is if they're expecting you to take care of your emotional, to take care of their emotional chaos, do they take care of yours? And if the answer is no, then why should you give to somebody what they refuse to give to you? Right? And that's an easy way to, again, separate ourselves from those certain types of situations. Yeah, emptied. Yeah, definitely burnout here. This is emptied. The ending and the beginning lie at either side of the same door. There's also this essence of needing to rest, pile one. You're exhausted. You've been driven beyond. And this person, I feel like they do feel that, but they're trying to push you over the edge, and they're trying to push you over to the edge back into a space where they can control you. And it feels like they're squeezing like this, and you're pushing against all of that pressure, like, no. And somehow inside of you, you've been given the strength to keep their hand from completely collapsing on you. And it's like, you know, but you're tired, you know, like, I mean, even just holding this like this without anything on my hands, like just the pressure from that, you know, you're going to get tired soon. So imagine that against your spirit, and imagine that against your soul. Like, that's exhausting. And I'm so sorry you have to deal with that. So sorry. Okay, an addict energy here helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior, especially with Neptune coming out as well. You could be a Pisces or have Pisces and Neptune, 12th house stellium, or have a water trine in your chart is coming through. Shadows compromises integrity and honesty, allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. Look, isn't that funny? What was I just talking about before flipping this card over is that pushing and pushing like this. And look at what they're doing. They're pushing and pushing it away. Pushing it away. So it's something that it feels like it's going to collapse down on you. And I feel like that's so, so synchronistic, because I was getting that image like that and I didn't know what was the next card. And so it's just, that's what it felt like though. And it's like I said, like, even if you do this right now, if you tense up all your muscles, like you can see my hands are shaking. Like if you tense up all your muscles and do that with your hands, you get tired. So imagine that from a spiritual sense, and imagine that from a mental and emotional stance. Like, you already know how that feels. It's exhausting. It's overwhelming, right? And you're doing it though. You've been given the strength to do that, but there's also this need. It's time for you to rest, to reconnect with your emotional well-being. First quarter moon, face those obstacles. Yeah. So this is about reclaiming your power, to taking it back from this person. Memories, old acquaintances, old debts, recollections, and prejudices. This is somebody that has been in your life for a long time. So there's a sense of reminiscing here, and there's a sense of maybe even an obligation to be loyal to them because of the position or the title they hold in your life. And that's also what's inciting this feeling of guilt that's coming through. It's like, well, you know, but they're family, right? We got family from the get-go. So it's like, this could be a father, a mother, brother, sister, an auntie, and uncle, but it's like, oh, but they're my family, you know, like I'm supposed to love them no matter what. And it's like, yeah, but you can love them from afar. You don't have to love them by carrying them through their journey when you have your own things to work on, right? Okay, this could be a lover, right? Flirt, seduce, lover, and lust. And we got the Juno card too. So I do feel like this person is actually keeping you from calling in your person. And again, it's not their fault. It's just the burden that's here is so heavy. It's hard for you to come into that aligned energy with the person that you're meant to be with. So if you're looking for love, like, that's something to keep in mind, is that the more you give to this person, the harder it's going to be for you to find love. And especially if that's something that you really, really want, you know, and that's something you really desire on your journey. But also the other thing here too is just that, like, don't let them seduce you. Don't let them bait you back in. Okay. There's that energy. And if this is like a labeled relationship, asking yourself, is this truly aligned with what I desire? Or is this me falling in love with potential? Right? And that's something else to ask yourself here. Okay, spendthrift. Wow. Waste, debt, and gambling with addict here. Okay, so this could be someone who's a spendthrift. They waste a lot of money. They expect you to support them. They expect you to take care of them in all aspects. And they don't worry about how they show up. They just worry about how you're going to take care of it, how you're going to answer the questions, how you're going to make them feel better. That's definitely that vampire energy too that we were getting. This person is not in alignment with you. They are on an entirely different level than you are. And it's okay for you to choose yourself in this situation. You've definitely done a ton of work, pile one. I mean, your cards are showing here with the bottom of the deck. You're definitely in a very profound place, right? And you are able to overcome negativity, but right now you're dealing with someone who's very emotionally immature, emotionally unavailable, and who has no emotional intelligence. And they're wearing you down, and they're trying to, like, that's the thing. They want you to go back to the old way of being. And so they're trying to elicit feelings of guilt, shame, and self-blame so that you'll go back to fulfilling the agenda that they have. And they're doing it, right? They're not that they're winning, but they're definitely doing it here. Okay, they're creating a lot of pressure in your life. And so that's why Source is saying focus on yourself. Come back to this hermit energy. If you have to isolate from them, isolate from them. That's okay. It's about protecting yourself right now, because you've gained a lot of wisdom from this situation, but you're also going to gain a lot more wisdom by stepping outside of the box and seeing it with fresh, clear eyes. So let's see what this card says. We're going to read this from the book. Oh my gosh. Look at how similar these energies are. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Very similar. There's a time for rest and restore to replenish. You may find yourself exhausted lately, having no energy to put toward yourself. And when we say focus on the things that bring you passion, it doesn't mean that we're saying, oh, give every ounce of energy that you have. It's just like, even if you can spare 5 or 10 minutes to doing one thing that you really love, that's fine. But I do feel like also, pile one, there's this energy that's surrounding you where you're about to come into an area of rest and recuperation. Like, you need to recover from this. This is a very difficult energy. This is a very uncomfortable energy, and you've been dealing with it, right? What we were saying, when you push your arms against something like that, you get tired. You're exhausted from doing this, okay? So let's see what this card says. It says you're in need of something so much deeper than rest. This is for the soul. You need restoration, replenishment, and revival. This will not necessarily come from lying about somewhere, taking a moment out of your day, or even activities. You're more likely to gain what you need by breaking with your routine completely and doing something different. You need some variety, some spice, some change to bring fresh energy into your body, mind, and heart. You need to restore and revive yourself by changing the usual flow of energy through your being. You can stimulate this process by going to a different place, meeting different people, taking different action to what you would usually do. You can return to your regular routine in time if it feels good for you. However, it is now time to move without pushing yourself beyond what is known, comfortable, and familiar. This oracle comes with a message from the great loving guardian, which is life itself. You've been working so hard and have accomplished so much already. However, you often sell your accomplishments short and focus on how much more is yet to be done. Life is telling you that it is time to put down that paintbrush, the pen, the endless lists, and the thinking mind, and get into your body. Take time to experience yourself in and of nature. Remember how to be. In doing so, even just for a relatively short amount of time, you will feel more of yourself and ready for the next phase. You might be surprised what just a day or two of this can do for you. Restoration does not have to be a long and involved process, especially if it is tended to when needed. This oracle is confirmation that you are in an important transition phase between one level of experience into the next. And if it feels as though you're treading water or in a sort of purgatory, somewhere between your old life and your new life, then this particularly applies to you. If you can't quite break into the level you're reaching for, have faith. You're just taking a breather between races. Soon you will have the power and the energy you need to reach the next level and succeed. Yeah, so you're in this in-between space right now, and I feel like you understand that, know that, and see that, and feel that. But also it's good for you to reconnect. And, you know, something that I've been doing recently that has helped me, you know, I'm in this beautiful RV park. There's trees all around us. And even though there's the trains, the planes, and the automobiles all right next to us, it's just the trees here are absolutely gorgeous. They're old, they're ancient. They feel so beautiful, and they surround us all. And everybody has a tree over their RV. It's absolutely gorgeous here. And I've just been sitting outside on the picnic table just for 5 or 10 minutes a day. And it's definitely made a big difference. And so I feel like something like that is going to serve you well, pile one. It doesn't have to be crazy, right? You don't have to like spend an hour doing something every day, but you can if that's what you feel called to. What they're saying here, though, is that it's time for you to reconnect. Reconnect with nature, reconnect to grounding yourself, reconnect to yoga nidra is a great way to restore and relax and reconnect with your nervous system, like recenter your nervous system, and especially the vagus nerve, right? So looking at certain techniques to reconnect with your sense of strength and well-being will definitely help you out in this time. But this person is not somebody that's going into the next level on your journey. You are, however, in a transitional period, okay? So this is what I see here for you today. If you feel like this is your reading, leave a tree emoji down below in the comment section and say, today I allow myself to connect with my roots, knowing that as I stay grounded on my journey, I am able to weather the in-between and transition into a new level of being. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this truly powerful message today. And until next time, pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with the Cancer energy on it, and just an option to choose from, doesn't mean this is only for Cancers. If you felt called to this jade gemstone for the heart chakra with the seed sound yam on it, or perhaps you felt called to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on the tea you need. We're all here sharing this human experience together. I do things differently here on this channel, so there might be triggering statements that do arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint for our journey of healing. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new here, thanks so much for joining us. If the readings do resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. Your time, your energy, and your presence are a true gift and a true blessing, and I'm deeply honored to be sharing them with you here today. So before I get into the dice, I did receive a channeled message, and that's that there's a very, very dark energy around you right now. Now, I'm just going to mention this from my own experience and from my own journey. I do not necessarily believe in demons, and that's just something I want to point out, okay? I do believe that there's some really dark energy out there, though, but I don't see it the same way that people would say, like, oh, it's this or it's that, or it's necessarily demonic, okay? But what you believe is what you believe. I just want to preface that going into this. So what I'm going to talk about is a very dark, shadowy energy, someone that is their most disconnected selves, or this situation is its most disconnected self. So it's the furthest away from alignment that it can possibly be. It's in the cold. It's in the darkness. There's little to no light here, okay? And it's surrounding you. And I feel like this is something that's pressing down on you. It definitely feels like it's a malefic energy. There's a lot of challenges here with this situation, but something is making you hold on, or it could just be your emotional ego is saying, like, we have to hold on to this situation because it's better for us, or we can change it, or we have the power to bring light to it, or whatever the situation is. But I feel like there's also your intuition is coming through where it's like, how do I walk away without either injuring other people that are involved or without getting injured yourself? And I feel like this is more about how do I walk away and just leave it behind. Like there needs to be a different question here, because the questions that you're asking might still be leading to you to hold on to this. But this is something that is very, very heavy. This could be like a Watchers type energy. This could be a yeah, it just feels like somebody's doing like some sort of black magic on you, or some sort of spell work on you. Some sort of like they've tried to curse you. And I just want you to know that like you're protected. I'm not talking about this to scare you. That's not why I'm bringing it up. But that's the type of energy that's around you right now. And I do feel like there's times when this energy does interfere with your life because you're aware of it. Like you're seeing it, you're feeling it, you're experiencing it. But I also want you to know, pile 2, that like you're super protected. Okay? You're very protected. Source is showing me that there is some sort of protection around you, whether that's your guardian angels, your spirit guides. You have an ancestor that's very protective of your energy, especially a divine feminine energy coming in here that is highly protective of your energy and fighting a lot of spiritual battles for you. But this is on a spiritual level. This is a very heavy energy. And I also feel like you're getting a lot of pains on the right side of your neck, the right side of your behind your rib cage, so like the thoracic spine. Also, I'm feeling like the right hip, The right big toe is coming in really strongly right now. So a lot of the right side. So this could be a masculine that is doing this on you, or this could be someone that wants to irritate your ability to take action for yourself, because the masculine side, all the right side, that's the masculine side of us, is our ability to reach out and grab life. And so this is someone who's really trying to keep you from stepping your journey. And part of that could be because you are a being of light, you are a starseed, you are an earth angel, you're here to have some greater mission, which doesn't necessarily mean fame and fortune. This could mean that your mission is literally to impact people's lives in an incredibly powerful and yet small way. Okay, so just taking that as it resonates, but that's what it feels like. And you're meant to create waves in the darkness. And this energy is trying to fight that, or this could be a person that's trying to fight that because of jealousy or because of feelings of discomfort, or they felt like you created waves in their life and they don't like that. They don't like that things had to change because you came into their life. Resentment's coming in too, but let's see. The tea you need, pile 2. And again, like I said, I'm not trying to scare you. You are definitely divinely protected. The tea you need. But it is a very, very difficult energy, and some of you do feel like you're surrounded by demonic energy. And that's why I was saying, like, I personally am not somebody that says, oh, like, I believe in that, but I believe in the darkness. Okay, I believe in the shadow, and that's what it is to me. And that shadow can exist on varying levels that are sometimes incredibly overwhelming and frightening and suffocating to, oh, that's not a big deal, I'll just flick it with my finger and it's over with, right? So that's what this feels like. But this could also be that you are, I'm seeing a vortex. So you could be near a vortex, a portal, or some sort of activity. So maybe a haunted house or like a haunted town is coming in here. And that could be varying different levels of situations, right? So maybe you're in a town where there was a lot of war, or you are in a house where maybe there was some sort of, you know, unsavory situations that unfolded. Yeah, so this could also be like where there was a really dark occult, or like a satanic occult or something like that. Like, you know, that's what's coming through. I'm just seeing that. It's like weird. They're showing me there's this house that I grew up around. Well, I didn't grow up around it, but I was around it when I was in my early 20s. And this house was near my ex at the time. And it was on the market, the housing market, because they had an occult, they had satanic offerings in the bottom of the house, in the bottom of the house, the basement in the house. And they tried to sell the house. And it was normally at the time, so this would have been, I don't know, in the 2000s. It would have been a house at that time that was still a massive house. It would have gone for like $600,000, which we're looking at now in that area is probably, those houses are worth probably $3 or $4 million now. So it's a $600,000 house, and they dropped it all the way down to $150,000. And no matter what, they could not get rid of this house. But that's what they're showing me. Like, and it became a big like thing. There was like so many people that visited the house. There was some weird things that went on. And so again, I do believe that you can call in darkness, and that's what I believe in. I just feel like we've given it names to understand it and to wrap our minds around it, and that's fine. Again, I'm not here to tell you that it is or it isn't. I'm just saying there's this really heavy energy that's around you right now. So this could be a person that is carrying this on their shoulder, and every time they're around you, it's like a chip off the shoulder. It ends up clinging to you and trying to bring you down, because it's like feeding off of your light, and it wants to bring you into the darkness to use you as an energy to sustain itself. And for others of you, this is just like, maybe you're in a vortex like that, right? You're around a house that's like that, or you have visited a lot of haunted locations and you've brought something back with you. You've done like ghost hunting and something like that. Maybe there was a situation where you didn't cleanse yourself thoroughly after you went ghost hunting. And it's just, again, this is not to scare you. this is just source coming in where this is really heavy energy, and it's time for you to maybe get someone help you to cleanse your energy from this, okay? I don't know if this is something you can do by yourself, but you can definitely try. You can definitely, you know, do your normal rituals for this. And if you feel like you need someone, you know, this could be like Reiki, or this could be going to someone and having them do a powerful protection spell for you, or this could be, you know, spending time in a church or a synagogue or something like that and doing a lot of prayer and meditation. So whatever it is that you're called to, because it's gonna be different for everybody, okay? But this feels really powerful, this energy, and it just feels really heavy, like it's been affecting you. And I do feel like you've been really exhausted, and there's a lot of depression that's been around you, and you're not sure why. Maybe you've dealt with depression before, but I feel like this has been a really heavy depression that you just can't kick. Like you've tried to do all the things that you've done before to get yourself through the depression, and this isn't working, and it's because this energy is just like clinging to you. Yeah, okay, so we have the 4th house. We have Gemini energy in the sun. Okay, so this energy is very adaptable, and it's attached to the house. That's what they're showing me here with the 4th house coming in here. It's something that's attached to the home. Okay, so you could be on a burial site and not know it. You could be, again, in a place where there was a lot of death and a lot of war or anything like that. It could be someone that you invited into your home and they brought it with you, or they brought it with them, and now it's just kind of just hanging out in your home. And I do feel like this is something that you can overcome by, you know, again, cleansing your area, you know, making sure that you put down, you could do salt protection, you can do the broom over the door, you can also do cord cutting around any entry points in your home. But that's what this is saying. Or this is something that you got from somebody else's home, and it's definitely affecting your vitality. Like this is something that is feeding on you. And do you hear my stove? It just made all that noise. I don't know if you heard that. It's been popping a lot, but that was loud. That was really loud. I feel like there's a lot of noises that are happening in your house that you're like, what the heck are these noises that you hadn't heard before? And this is something, this could be attached to a Cancer, Gemini, or Leo. And these are people, like every time you're around them, you just get very exhausted. You're like, oh my gosh, this person just makes me so tired. And I'm not here to scare you. I just keep reiterating that because I do feel like someone here is very panicked about this energy. And that's why it's like, this is not to scare you. You're very protected, and that this is something that, like, again, when I say by yourself, it's not that you necessarily have to hire a professional. This is asking your guides, your ancestors, your guardian angel, source, God, Jesus, whatever you believe in, to come in and help you get rid of this. You need a more powerful spiritual light than what you're able to emit right now. Okay, it's not that you're not normally in this, you are. I feel like what's going on though is that this is just kind of, it's become, it's just a very heavy energy. This is a very heavy energy. It's very adaptable too. And so it could be realizing that maybe you're trying to do a cord cutting by yourself without your guides, and that is adapting to that. So I'm also seeing Archangel Michael come in very strong here. And Archangel Michael says, I got your back. And Archangel Zadkiel is coming in as well. So there might be a need for forgiveness here of someone. And maybe that resentment is what is keeping this situation in your energy. Wow. I don't think I've ever had a reading like this before in my journey of readings. This is just so powerful. It came in so strong in the beginning. And so let's see, let's get some more information here from the tarot. Yeah, this is something that you'll be healing from, and it was a part of your journey. This is, again, it's something that it was a part of your journey to help you recognize and realize just how strong you were. Yeah, okay, so the Knight of Swords wanting to come out in the reverse just popped out. I'll take it out because it wants to be out. This is trying to make you question your worth, question your ability. It's trying to keep you in a state of confusion, of conceitedness even, right? Like, whatever that is. And when we say conceitedness, it's just the emotional ego. It's something that your emotional ego believes in and is trying to continue to create that in your life. So whatever this energy is, it's feeding off of that. This could even be a belief system that you've gotten from somewhere else. So the tea you need. Okay, yeah, okay. All right. With the moon coming out in the reverse, again, pointing towards dangerous. This feels like impending doom. This feels very dangerous. There's something about this that feels very scary. You haven't been able to sleep lately. You haven't been able to do what you need to do lately because there's just this fear. It's almost like, oh my gosh, like if I close my eyes, something bad is going to happen. Oh my gosh, right now my right foot is cramping so bad. Okay, this is saying that you're not trusting the journey. Like you're upset about the journey. Like, why do I have to deal with this? That's what I keep hearing right now. Hold on just a second. Let me drink some water and try and stretch my foot out. Yeah, I keep hearing that so loud. Why do I have to deal with this? It's like almost as if you're feeling or believing that you always have to deal with these dark energies or these dark entities. And part of that is because you're discovering your gift. Oh my gosh, look at this. Yeah, this is you, part of you discovering your gift, which is something that's actually bringing a lot of abundance into your life. And that's why they're saying not to be afraid, right? So with the moon in reverse here, there's this feeling around you where I'm just very afraid of this. Like I'm very scared of this. Like even though it might be very interesting to you, this is a very unique reading. So this is going to be only for a select few. And if it's not resonating with you, please check out one of the other readings. I just want to say that before we get too deep into this, because we're already at 16 minutes. And, you know, I just want to say, like, there's definitely other readings here that you can choose from, because this is a very specific energy that's coming in. But it's just showing here that this is also too the fear of negativity. But there's something here that you're not changing. Like you're really freaked out about your gift. Like you're really freaked out about this, how it's unfolding. And that's what it's saying. Like it keeps seeing the vortex over and over again. And I'm not talking about the vortex like what Abraham Hicks talks about. I'm talking about the vortex, a literal spiritual vortex, where if somebody's passed away, like hospitals are a vortex, right? Like going to a place where there's been a lot of death, that's where you can find a vortex. Like these are spiritual vortexes. There's also there's that house that I can't remember, the Mrs. Winchester, I think she built, and she was building the house in all different directions to confuse the spirits, and her house turned into a vortex because of that. It's a wild house, like staircases that have no reason for being there. They just doors that open to nothing. And, you know, like there's all these things, and it's just like, it's wild, right? And so it's just like, that's the type of energy though that I feel like you're in. Pile 2 is just this very like, I'm worried about it. Like it's too dark. It's too deep for me. Like, why do I always have to deal with these dark energies? And that's what they're saying. It's like your fear of the unknown is what's keeping this attached to you when you're not recognizing or finding your own power. It's like you're giving away your power to these entities, and that's something that you're actually going to be mastering in this lifetime, is the ability to set up a very strong barrier and boundary when it comes to that type of energy, while also calling on. Also, if you don't know, find out who your gatekeeper is. So asking, who is my gatekeeper, and then being open to what you receive. And that way you can have an internal conversation with your gatekeeper, because your gatekeeper's trying to come through in a very powerful way here. And, you know, your gatekeeper is the one that's going to help you set those solid boundaries as well. Okay. And so that's coming in. It's a very spiritual pile. Yeah. So the fear of working on this here. Okay. And yet the thing is, pile 2, is that if you don't do anything, it's definitely your choice. I just want you to know, if you don't do anything, like the tables are still going to turn. Like, you're still going to discover your gift. Your gift is still going to come through, okay? But I feel like Source wants you to focus on your gift more than anything and find confidence in who you are and your ability to work with the spiritual realm and the divine realm right now, because it's unfolding as we speak. And there's something very powerful here that's trying to come through for you. And I feel like that's maybe an ancestor, that is a guide, your gatekeeper, especially for many of you. This is your gatekeeper, wants to be known and is knocking on heaven's doors. They're saying, hey, I need you to know who I am so that we can work in tandem with one another, because your gatekeeper that's the one that is very, very powerful, super powerful energy here, okay? And they're going to help you learn how to keep energies out that you don't want to come in. But more importantly, they're going to help you filter through what all of this means to you. And I feel like there's just a refusal right now from you where it's like, nope, I refuse to believe in that. I refuse to deal with that. I refuse to face that energy because it's too dark. It's scary. It just makes me feel very uncomfortable. It's, again, with the moon in reverse, it just feels like impending doom. Like, if I tap into that, then I'm tapping into a part of myself that maybe there's old beliefs saying, like, oh, if you're a psychic medium, like, you're touched by the devil, or like if you do tarot cards, then, you know, like you're inviting in these negative energies. There's a lot of weird beliefs around the spiritual side of things. And I feel like you're just facing these discomforts. And part of that is facing a very dark energy right now that has maybe been present in your life for some of you for not a very long time, but for others of you for a long time. And wondering, like, well, why is it that I have to carry this energy? And it's not that you have to carry this energy. It's just this energy has attached to you because it's feeding on you. And it's also, there's a part of your path that was set up in this way so that you could discover your gift. And we can definitely discover our gifts without going through these situations. But if we refuse to acknowledge our gifts along the way, they will come in very strange ways. Like, I have seen full body apparitions. I woke up one night because my dog was growling and she never growled, and I woke up and all of a sudden there was this man, I think it was a man at least, standing above me, was like 9 feet tall and had on this huge top hat and was just bent over the bed looking at me. And of course it scared the living daylights out of me when it happened, and I jumped back away from him. And he stood up after I woke up and saw him. He stood up and he walked right through the wall. It was a wild situation. I have dealt with, again, like that house. There were some weird things that went on in the house. At my ex's house, his basement, I had a very hard time going into his basement because there was an energy down there that just made my stomach curl. And one time I went to go get this glass top for a coffee table that we had, and I had to leave because when I opened the garage door, from the garage into the house, I opened the garage door, there's this blood curdling scream and nobody was home. And that just made me stop, close the door, and I walked away and I went and smoked a whole bunch of weed because it scared the living daylights out of me. And, you know, as I've grown and allowed my gift to unfold, like, now I understand those energies a lot better. Like, I understand what was happening to me. I've heard disembodied voices, right? Like, these are things that have happened along my own journey. And I understand this too, because I was really afraid to acknowledge that I was a psychic medium. I was okay acknowledging that I was a psychic, but the psychic medium part was the scariest thing for me to acknowledge. And I feel like that's something that's becoming uncovered for you, is the psychic medium gift, or the ability to touch beyond the veil. Okay. And take that however you feel. This is one of the clairs that's opening up for you. This is a grouping of the clairs that's opening up for you. This is definitely a spiritual gift that's opening for you, but there's a part of you that's very resistant to it. Like, it just feels like I have to say no. But every time I hear you saying no, I also feel the clenching of the throat chakra into the heart chakra. Like, there's just this, like, it feels like this, and it's very uncomfortable. This has been a struggle for you. And again, that could come from, wow. Okay. So that could come from your upbringing as well. So we have the 10th house that just kind of like flopped out: structure, discipline, life, mission, accomplishments, and careers. And yang energy, proactivity, expression, doing, and forward motion. So there's a need here for you to actually start to look into this so that it doesn't scare you as much as it does now. It's not meant to scare you, but the unknown aspect of it can feel very dreadful. Yeah, sextile here, combination of tension and flow, potential in a rewarding situation. This has the opportunity to bring a lot of different energy into your life, and a lot of, I mean, connecting with your path of purpose here. What you're meant to be doing, something you're meant to be sharing here. There's giving and receiving and giving. Yeah, this is something you're meant to be sharing. I also feel like you have a very powerful, didn't I say that at the beginning? A very powerful divine feminine ancestor that's watching out for you, that's trying to fight for you. Oh my gosh, did I not say that forgiveness needs to come for you? We have hurt blocks our light. Okay, and that's what I was saying, like, look, it's blocking like the throat chakra and the heart chakra. That's what I was feeling, like this stifling of the energy there. And I'm pretty sure I said that on the beginning, like there's forgiveness or there's resentment here that's been keeping you attached to this type of energy here. And there's a need to come back into this space of forgiveness. And part of that can come from sharing, but part of that can just come from accepting you as you are in this moment. This is, again, it feels very frightening, but it's not. It's not a scary energy, right? Your intention is everything. Lacking personal direction begets confusion, and life is a pawn to someone else's game of chess. So that's the thing here. It's like, you have no intention, right? I have no intention of dealing with this. Well, now you've become a part of its chess game. Okay, and that's the thing. And it's like, of course, there are entities that will come in. You know, they talk about jokester spirits, and jokester spirits they kind of irritate me a lot. I'm just going to say, like, jokester spirits, they will take you on a wild ride if you allow them. But that's exactly the thing. It's like, they're coming in and they're going to like lead you down the wrong path just so that they can have a laugh at the end of the day about it, right? And it's not like they're necessarily bad. It's just that they're just not really good. They're just getting their own kicks out of it to see if you'll give them that power, right? And that's the thing. And so again, there's definitely a guardian angel here that's protecting you. There's some sort of deity that's here that's protecting you. There is an energy that's surrounding you, but it's all about your intention and connecting with, I feel like for many of you, connecting with your gatekeeper is key. Okay, so since I kept seeing Archangel Michael, I'm actually going to get a couple of cards from the past life energy deck and see what comes through for you, pile 2. Whoa, okay. So you're getting 3. We're going to look at those. They just fell out. Yeah, okay, so parent, child, family. Yeah, so there's definitely a divine feminine ancestor that is looking out for you, that is helping fight this on a spiritual, this is like the spiritual war front, and they also want to connect with you. They want to be able to connect with you. We have 22, which is trusting in the process. Okay, you're still in your baby steps here of uncovering this gift, and so there's so much more to it that you're discovering about it, and it can be scary. Okay, it can definitely be scary, but they're not trying to scare you. Like, that's the thing. They want you to recognize your own internal power here. A new start is coming. The new moon. The darkest moon that there is, right? Like, yeah, so it's just showing that this is, again, that dark energy. It's the unknown. And the unknown is what makes it even more scary. Let's get one of these. We're going to get one of the prism cards out here. What else? Yeah, anxiety flipping over. I want one more. Okay, this is a thing. They want you to go from a state of anxiety into a state of peace. Okay, like this is creating a lot of anxiety for you, but we're trying to bring you to this state of peace so that you can come back into this abundant energy. And remember that you're the one in control. And I believe that I did a... There's so much noise that's happening in here. Okay. I believe that I did a reading. Is it a curse? Is it a hex? Or I don't know. It's a really old reading. I did it like last year or even the year before that. And if you check out my pick a card playlist. It'll be in there. You'll have to scroll down. It'll be there somewhere, but you can definitely check that reading out. It's been a long time since I've done that reading, but I keep seeing that reading right now. So that might be something you need to check out if you feel called to. That'll give you some additional information, but they want you to move from this state of anxiety into this state of peace, because this is something that you have power over, not that has power over you, right? Yeah, they want you to be confident here. Okay, especially with the King of Wands here. They want you to have confidence. They want you to believe in yourself and to believe in your abilities. Okay, so what do we've got? Yeah, the energetic realm. Oh my gosh. So this card talks about life in between lives, right? Like, but the energetic realm, this is the divine realm. We have 44 here. You're protected, strength, structure, stability. Okay, and source is showing you that there are lights around you. There are energies around you that are protecting you right now, okay? But this is also helping you connect with that divine gift so that you can connect with the divine realm in a much more profound way than you've been able to. Look, self-doubt. I can't make this up. Yeah, feelings of inadequacy. You're not trusting in your abilities. You're not trusting in your ability to face this, right? There's something here. It's like the unknown, right? I don't want to look at this. There's the fear of something here, okay? I'm looking away. I don't want to see it because there's a fear of something here. And they're saying, like, your feelings of inadequacy, this is also part of what this energy is feeding on, is that self-doubt, okay? And you saying that I'm empowered and I can stand in my power is what drives it away and drives away the anxiety and brings you into this state of peace. Okay, so we have Archangel Raziel. Oh my gosh, I love that this came in. Inspiration, mysteries, and the Akashic record. Now I know why my right foot was cramping at the beginning. This is a part of your Akashic records. This is written in your journey. Look, and how symbolic is that? You got 22, 33, and 44. This is like the divine coming in and saying, hello, pile 2. We're here. We're supporting you. We're taking care of you. We've got your back. Trust us, right? Trust us. Trust that this is a part of your journey. We're not doing this to scare you. Okay? We're not doing this to hurt you. We're not doing this to make you feel inadequate. We're doing this to help you connect with your gift. There's something here that's unfolding for you on a much bigger scale, and that's why they want you to bravely face this, but also feel free to ask your guides for help. And again, I'm going to go back, pile 2, to specifically saying asking your gatekeeper to introduce themselves to you if you have yet to know who your gatekeeper is, okay? And then we have, look at that, the full moon eclipse, a transitional period here, okay? Conclusions are within reach. You might resonate with the collective message that I did at the beginning, which you'll find timestamp down below. If you feel called to it, you're definitely welcome to check that out. But conclusions are within reach. Okay, so this is definitely something that's coming to an end. This is a transitional period for you. You're coming into a very spiritual time in your life. We're going to take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to find out what it says. Pandora's gift. Oh my gosh. Oh my Lord. Oh, you're opening up your gift. I love that source so much. Thank you so much. I just need a second. I need a second to reground because, whoa. And that's a thing. Like, I'm telling you not to be afraid. And I know that's easier said than done, pile 2. Like, I get that, especially when it comes to the unknown and the divine realm. But there's something about reclaiming your power when it comes to the energetic world that just sets you on a new level of life. And that's exactly what Source is saying here. Like, we just want you to open up to your gift, okay? This is something that it's unknown. It's different, right? But it's also, look, this is like light language coming down through your third eye. This is light language that's coming into your heart chakra. I feel like your soul has been dying for this to happen for a long time. It just really wants this to happen. But it's also realizing that the masks that you've worn, no matter how beautiful those masks are, no matter how intricate those masks are, they're not the truth of who you are. And there's a need to put down those masks. And especially if you grew up in a very religious home, a gift like this is something that was cause for people to make harsh judgments. But gifts like these come from source, right? That means that they're a gift of love. It's a gift of unconditional love. And we were the channel or the vessel upon which source chose to channel these through. Okay. And that's why it's such a beautiful honor, even though at times it can feel like a curse. It's not. It's just how we look at it, and it's how we choose to receive that gift. And so there's something here about how she's finding peace in something that otherwise she would have run away from, because there's a transitional period here. There is a change of heart. There is a change in seeing this and how you're seeing the situation unfold. Look at that. I opened up right to it. So telling here. Pandora's gift says there is a mythical woman. So again, another divine feminine. There's definitely divine feminine ancestor here that is working with you. Okay, there is a mythic woman, much maligned throughout history, whose name means all gifted. What is happening right now, Pile 2? Oh my goodness. Pandora lives within us as our curious nature, our yearning to conquer chaos, evil, and darkness with the light of knowledge. What is happening right now? What? Okay, seriously. She is the hopeful voice of our soul that asks the questions, and in doing so triggers the process that brings answers. Sometimes it is through uncomfortable learning that we find our treasure. Pandora reminds us that the process of learning can take us to places that seem like the end of our world, and yet all is not lost. Even now, the light within you is stirring for new revelation, new life, new adventure. Pandora is all gifted and all giving. Her presence invites you to forego your belief in judgment. Now is the time to surrender the misplaced guilt you may have brought upon yourself or another, some terrible happening. It is time to let go of the shame-based belief in punishment. This is a belief that you deserve to be brought to task over, or perceived imperfection that your natural human journey somehow renders you inadequate. Pandora frees the soul from such torment. This is her gift. The human journey is necessary. The human journey necessarily involves learning through experience. There is no shame in your learning process. Pandora's presence is a sign of a new time, a time to swap the notion of inherent shame for the acceptance of inherent divinity. From this moment on, how unstoppable shall you become? Sacred rebellion is happening within your soul as a powerful inspiration towards liberation. You're breaking free from the weighty criticisms of the world, from the power games that bore you senseless, and from the insanity of sacrilegious priorities in the world. Dare to disobey anything and everything that is not divine. Pandora is the leader of your soul revolution. She defies the vicious judgments of history and all that has been said about her. She shrugs off misery, despair, and the weight of the world to recognize that she is the bearer of the true and beautiful light of peace, comfort, hope, and reassurance. With her oracle comes the realization that you too are a divinely defiant believer in hope who shall cast off the works of anyone who seeks to torment you. As this shift takes place, you shall dare to look within your own being and find the light. You are being put on divine notice from the sacred feminine. Oh my gosh, thank you. That there is a talent and ability within you that needs to be acknowledged. I cannot make this up. There's a worthy seed of something beautiful and necessary within you. If you choose to develop and express this seed step by step, it will become an extraordinary light in your life and the world. So, poke out your tongue at the naysayers and turn your attention to the bright hope within. You were born to strut your soul stuff, Pile 2. Oh my goodness. What an incredible reading. Like, truly incredible. I know it felt like it was scary from the get-go, but honestly getting to this point now, like Source is coming in and saying you are so protected. We're trying to open you up to this gift that you have. Oh, what a beautiful synchronicity. Truly. I love you, Pile 2. You're an amazing person, and you deserve to be allowed to express your soul ability however it wants to be expressed, and you deserve to let yourself explore that, okay? So this is what I see here for you today, Pile 2. If you felt like this was your reading, leave a little gift box emoji down below and say, I let go of fear and step into my internal divine power, allowing my gift to surface and be expressed freely in this here now here moment. And if it resonated with you, Pile 2, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you will find everything you need in the description box. I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, my spirit guides, and a very special shout out to both your gatekeeper and the feminine ancestor who is very present with us today. And until next time, Pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with the moon on it, or perhaps you felt called to this lapis lazuli third eye chakra gemstone with the seed sound Aum on it. Or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle. This is going to be your reading on the tea you need. We're all here sharing this human experience together. I do things differently here on this channel. So with that being said, there might be triggering statements that do arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint to assist with our healing journey. Okay, if the message does happen to resonate with you today, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks so much for joining us. Your time and your energy and your presence are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm deeply honored to be here sharing it with you today. So for you, Pile 3, I don't know if this is a channeled message, but I was told to tell you to grab a cup of tea, pull up a chair, and let's talk. And the thing is that it's weird because I've even said this. I think there was only one other reading that I've ever actually made tea on and had to have a cup of tea with. So I was told to make a cup of tea too. So I did. My tea looks a little different. It kind of looks like coffee. I made some Bengal spice tea with a bit of heavy cream and a little bit of honey. It is delicious, by the way. If you're wondering what tea, Celestial Seasonings. I grew up near Celestial Seasonings, so it's kind of like my go-to tea. Yes, I was near the actual plant that they have for it, and I've toured it many times. This is beautiful. Right outside Boulder, Colorado. Yeah, so I was told to tell you to get a cup of tea, pull up a chair, and let's have a chat. So the tea, I mean, it's interesting that that's the way they wanted to. I feel like this is more about your intuition and allowing yourself to let things unfold. Also allowing you to share your warmth with others, you know. And I had mentioned at the beginning, I'm letting Source kind of guide these readings. And I know when we talk about tea, we're obviously looking for gossip. Sometimes we're looking for, you know, what is it that people are saying about us? But this was, I feel like, a very specific channeled message from Source to give you what information that you need. So far, Pile 1 and 2 were incredibly different. Very different from what I had expected. So I know that yours is going to be as well. Oh, that is divine. Let me get into it and find out what is the tea you need, Pile 3. The tea you need, Pile 3. You know, it's interesting because there's this energy that's coming in where it's like some people love you. They love you. They cannot get enough of you. And then there are some people that just can't stand you. I'm also getting like maybe some of you smoked cloves. And this is a very specific message that's coming through, like back when clove cigarettes, not the cigars, but when clove cigarettes were a thing. And some of you may still be in countries where they're allowed, but they were kind of outlawed here in the United States back in, 2013 or something like that. But you could have been one of those people that smoke cloves on a regular basis, and that was also like that type of energy that's coming in, whereas like you really enjoyed them and then they got outlawed, and it was like everybody's like, oh, finally those nasty things got outlawed. And then you were like, yeah, but I loved them, they were delicious, they tasted good, they smelled good. It's like a love or hate relationship, right? And that's exactly the type of energy that you give off. Like, you're bold, you're fresh, you're different, and you have a lot to offer. But not everybody is ready to hear the messages or to share in the wisdom that you have, because it is asking them to break down foundations that they're very comfortable standing on. Okay? So let's see. Yeah, okay. So we've got the 11th house here. Just laughing because, yeah, it's having to do with other people here. Taurus energy, and you did get the moon. The moon came back out. Yeah, so it's the emotional stability that you have is very, very profound. You're very confident in who you are, very comfortable in your skin. But I also do feel like you still look to inspire others. And others are inspired by you. But there's also this energy that is coming up where, you know, you're not going to connect with everybody in a very powerful way, because it's not that you're not leaving seeds. It's not that you're not gifting them that love and light. It's the fact that you are like a hammer and a chisel on people's emotional walls. And that's entirely uncomfortable to people who felt safe behind their own walls that they had built, behind the masks that they've built. But you come in with a chisel and a hammer and you're carving away at what's there. I don't remember where I've read this. It's in a book that I have, because I've read this story multiple times. It could be in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. It might be in there. It might be in another one of those, like As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, or it could be in the one like What You Seek Is Also Seeking You, and I can't remember the author of that book. But anyways, there's this story about a Buddhist monk who notices that there's a Buddha statue in the yard, and it has a crack in it, and they have to move. They're moving the monastery, and they have to move this statue, but they're scared because, you know, the statue has a crack in it, and they don't want it to crack anymore. And so they bring in like all this equipment, they bring in all this stuff. And one night it's raining, and he's walking around the yard, and he notices that the rain has washed away a lot of the debris from the crack, and there's something that's shining from the crack. And so he goes in and he gets a chisel and a hammer, and he starts chipping away at the Buddha. Mind you, this is a historic Buddha statue that he's chipping away at, but the shining energy there, the light that's coming from it is so captivating that he can't help himself. And so he's chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. And after hours of chipping away at this massive statue that weighed like 2,000 pounds, in the core of it, he found a solid gold Buddha statue. It was small, but it was more valuable than the mud statue or the clay statue that was there covering it up. And the moral of this story is that sometimes we have to let go of our attachments to what we think is valuable in order for us to find the gem that's within. And that's the type of energy that you bring everywhere you go. You're asking people to discover the gem within them, and not everybody is ready and willing to do that. And sometimes pile 3, that looks like people being incredibly jealous, incredibly angry, or incredibly cruel and ruthless to you, because you are pressuring their inner demons to come to the conscious awareness. And that looks very much like lashing out at whatever it is that created that internal demon within, or that internal dissonance within. And it lashes out in its childish way that it lashes out. And I feel like sometimes you feel incredibly alone on your journey and are wondering, like, when am I going to connect with people who understand me and who get me? And I feel like the thing is, pile 3, is that you already are connecting with people, even if they're not saying anything. You're impactful everywhere you go. You leave an impression, and you leave droplets of healing everywhere you go. And some people soak that up like water in a drought. And other people feel like it is acidic and disgusting, not because you are, but because they're not yet willing to face what that healing is asking them to face. And I also feel like you get a lot of judgment because you're very comfortable with who you are. You've had to learn to love yourself entirely and fully. And you've become incredibly loyal to your journey and to uncovering your own gem. And because of that, it elicits a healing response in others. But in others still, it's going to always bring this feeling of, I have to attack pile 3 because they're making me feel inadequate. They're making me feel less than. They're making me feel some type of way. And it's not your fault. It's not because of you. It's just they're dealing with their own internal discrepancies. I hope you all are enjoying your tea too, because I really do feel like this is a spiritual talk for some reason. Even though it's a reading, like the energy is coming through very clear. Like it's almost like Source just wants to kind of address something that's been weighing heavily on you. Especially with the lapis lazuli here. It's been, maybe you feel like your intuition's being blocked right now, or you feel like you're not receiving messages clearly. But I feel like that's actually inaccurate, because you're receiving messages for other people and they're not for you. So it's going to feel like, oh, I'm not receiving my messages clearly, because right now it's not about the messages you need. It's about the messages that you pass on. And that's why it might feel like there's a waning of your spiritual connection. And it's not. It's actually a strengthening. The tea you need, pile 3. You're actually helping to bring up a very shallow energy into a lot of people's awareness. It's so interesting that they want me to talk about this right now. Okay, so they're showing me, I was having a conversation with a family member where I'm at, and I'd mentioned this on one of the other piles. Where I'm at is a very beautiful place, and just down the road, they sold the land to some developer, and there's so many trees here, and the trees are huge. They're massive. They're old trees because they've been growing for a long time. And where they sold this land at, they destroyed all of that land. Like, you know, it was in a week. They completely bulldozed all the trees. They burned them. And then it turned into, they were churning up the dirt, and the dirt was all fresh and all that stuff. And every time I drive by it, I'm just like, I'm sick in my heart, because I'm sitting there thinking about all the homes of the animals that got destroyed. Like all the deer that got put out, all the rabbits that got put out, all the bugs that got put out, like all of the things in that moment, like where basically as a human we came in, and because of our greed, that's how I was looking at it, because of our greed and our avarice, right? Like we basically destroyed this beautiful habitat. And I know that this happens. That's how developments happen. I get it. But like seeing it with your eyes and like feeling that on your heart are two different things. And that's what I'm saying. Like why they're showing me this to you is that you're in that type of energy too, where maybe it is about trees, maybe it is about the environment, but I feel like it's this to the soul. It's you recognizing something or some action that humans are doing on a regular that's destroying our connection to ourselves, that's destroying our healthy environment, that's destroying our internal garden. And that's what it feels like here. What is this? Little teeny tiny bug that joined us. I wish I could tell you what it was. He just totally flew out the screen. So whatever. Bye, friend. The tea you need. Pile 3. This is interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this came out in pile 2, and you might have resonated with pile 2. I just quickly want to mention, if you watched all 3 piles with me, leave a purple heart down below. That makes you a part of my Purple Heart Club, or just say I made it. I know what that means. But like I said, all 3 piles have been vastly different energies. So I love it when readings are like that, when they're not really piggybacking on one another. But in pile 2, the moon came out in this exact same position in the reverse as well. But it's interesting because it's a completely different energy that's coming in. Yeah. So this is the thing, like, that's why I feel like Source wants to talk about it with you, is because there's a lot of people here who feel like you're rocking the boat. And that you're the one that's misguided. Like, you're like that. Again, I'm talking about what I was seeing with the trees being destroyed. Like, if I were to talk about that with just any person that I ran into, they'd be like, but this is just the way life is. And for me, it's like, I understand that, but I'm not asking you to change the way life is. I'm asking you to see what I see. Not from my perspective, but just open up yourself for just a moment to see what I see, which is destruction. Destruction of homes, destructions of habitat. And we as humans think that we are superior to all of nature because we are human, and that is not true. Like, nature is synergistic with us if we allow it to be, but we just have a tendency to destroy it because we feel like it gets in the way, you know. And that's the thing. And so I feel like that's the type of energy that you carry about you. Like, you're seeing something that's getting in the way, and everybody's trying to convince you, or there's a lot of people around you that are trying to convince you that the way that you see is what's getting in the way. But actually, the way that you see is addressing an incredibly difficult situation. Yeah. So it could be specifically that family is telling you this. It could be that this is somebody that's a Cancer, a Taurus, an Aquarius, a Libra, a Pisces, a Gemini, or yeah, Pisces. I said Pisces is coming in here. Yeah. Okay, so this is like family or people who are close to you, like family, and they're saying these things to you, and they're making you feel like what you have to offer doesn't matter. And I feel like some of you've reached the end of your tolerance for this. Like, you're just basically at the end of your rope, saying, look, like, you can think that way, but I still see this truth. Like, I still understand this deeper truth. Also, there's this energy where there's someone here, there's 2 people. This could be a Cancer or Virgo who are attacking you. And they are trying to point out, like, well, but you're not making money thinking this way, or what good does this do? It doesn't change anything. Like, they're just very stuck in their own ways. Okay, and this could be representing that there's multiple people here too. It doesn't just have to be 2 people or 1 person. It could be multiple people here who have said this. I feel like that's the thing. It's like you're recognizing that you really do trigger a lot of people. And what Source is saying is, like, that's by divine design. You're meant to trigger people. You're meant to elicit a sense of danger. I'm hearing danger, Will Robinson. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. It's like, but that's the emotional ego of these people. It's rising up where they're attacking you from. That's where they're coming from. It's like they're coming from this place of not wanting to change the way that they see things. But the fact that you picked the lapis lazuli with the seed sound Om for the 3rd eye, the chakra stone, is showing that you're coming from a very clear intuition, right? You're coming from a very clear place. With the moon here, you see things that elicit an emotional response. And that emotional response is what helps you navigate the world. But you're very clear about who you are. But sometimes I feel like you question who you are because it feels like people are so So much so in opposition to the way that you see the world that it feels like you're constantly battling. And that it's creating a lot of suffering for you. I want to get a couple of clarifiers for you for pile 3 source. Yeah, this is the weight of the world. There's a lot of emotional exhaustion for you, pile 3. There's a lot of just fighting people here. There's a lot of feeling of discord here. It's like, what's the point? Oh, I never take these in reverse, but the Chariot wanted to come out in the reverse. Spiritual defeat. Okay, so you're going through a sense of spiritual defeat here. Because it's like, what's the point of me offering the way that I see things when it feels like nobody wants to listen? Why do we hear that song? Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrows. I don't know. Is that a Disney song? I don't know. Anyways, that song is coming through, and it's not, it's like, I think it was in Spaceballs too. I think the princess was singing it when she was in the jail and they came to rescue her. Okay. So there's this energy around you where there's a lot of depression, and I actually feel like the thing is that you elicit change for people who experience severe depression, and you don't get to see that. Like, a lot of what you do, you don't get to see, and that can be really challenging. But I also feel like you're getting pushback from certain people here. Like, you're getting pushback, and it's not like, it's emotional manipulation. It's also like holding something over your head here, like physically in the physical world. So money, a job, a house, some sort of material, something here that they're holding over your head. It's like, well, you know, obviously this isn't the way that it works. People who believe in an old plan that is failing, right? Like, so the 9 to 5 is failing, and we're watching it fail between... Everybody's watching it. Everybody's watching AI take over certain jobs. Everybody's watching people get, you know, online jobs. Everybody's watching people get at-home jobs and stuff like that. Like, we're literally watching the 9 to 5 start to falter as the ideal plan. Another thing, especially for millennials, like, if you're a millennial, you'll get this, right? But like, if we were raised, see, like, I was raised by a boomer and a Gen Z, a Gen Xer. Like, I was raised by, my parents were very far apart in age. And so I was raised by a boomer and a Gen Xer. And their plan was get a trade, right? So get a trade, master that trade, and work in that trade your whole life. And that's how things are going to work out for you. Gen Xers were told to go to college, get a degree, and that degree is going to serve you for the rest of your life. It's not that college degrees don't, but millennials definitely saw that falter. We saw how we went to school, we got a degree, and we got out right as one of the craziest recessions hit, and now we were all strapped with a whole bunch of student debt and no jobs to give us money to pay for our debt. And so we felt that, right, as millennials. But now the younger generations are coming in, and they're recognizing, because they grew up with the phones. They didn't have to learn the phones like millennials did. We understood technology because we learned internet, we learned the phones. Like, we were part of that growth. But now you're seeing the younger generations after us, and they were completely programmed by all of that technology, and that's why that technology is changing the interface of the 9 to 5 so rapidly. And so that's what it feels like here. It's like there's a plan here that somebody in your family had, or that multiple people in your family had for you. And they're trying to convince you that every time you move forward, you're actually going backwards. Like, you're not making any progress. Like, why are you trying to do this? Like, I don't even understand why you're putting this effort in. And there's a part of you that's starting to believe it, because you're reaching spiritual burnout. And it's like, you know, asking source, asking your angels, like, please just help give me the courage to keep going. But you're emotionally exhausted, and there's a feeling of a need for a change of scenery. They're not going to leave you behind. You have a choice here. You have a choice. You can keep trying to carry these people, right? This really feels like family to me. Someone you consider family, someone who's very close to you. Like, you don't want to see them fail. You don't want to see them suffer. You don't want to see them go through something hard. And that's really admirable of you, pile 3. Truly, it is. However, that's a very exhausting way to live this journey. So there's a choice here, right? But also with the Lover card coming out, it's Source reminding you we're not going to leave you alone, especially with your spiritual journey, because you're here as a spiritual warrior. You're here as a spiritual influencer in some sense. You're meant to help change the world and to help question these foundations, right? So there's this foundation, and they keep calling it the plan. So there's a plan that's falling apart, and there's a lot of backlash because you're seeing something about that plan. And even if you've explained it to them, they don't want to see it from your perspective. They don't want, right? What I was saying, like, I just want you to see what I see, not to believe it, but just to see what I see for just a moment, to question it and see if that creates anything new for you. But that's exactly what they're fighting. They don't want to see it. They don't want to question it. Part of it's because they know in their heart that they what you're speaking is true. But also part of it's because they just like holding on to this old belief. It's what they were raised to believe. It's what they've held on to for their whole life. And then that's the other thing is, like, if I let go of this idea, right? So like my boomer parent, if they let go of this idea that the trade that they learned and they mastered their whole life was actually just a huge waste of time, then what did their life mean? Right? Like the same for my Gen Xer parent, like got a degree, and then that degree ultimately didn't mean anything. Making the same amount of money after they got the degree and graduated later in life, right? So thinking about these things, and it's like those ideas, but they were told and promised, like, you get a degree, you'll get a higher paying job. If you have a master, or if you've mastered a skill in your life, you have the opportunity to get a higher paying job. But we lived in a state of poverty my whole life. Growing up, like, we were still in a state of poverty, no matter how masterful they were at the things that they did. But they still held on to those ideas. Why? Because that's the belief that they were told. And so, again, there's this feeling where if I let go of this belief, then what was my life worth? And so this could be parents, especially with the Queen of Cups and the King of Coins coming out. This could be parents. This could also be grandparents coming in. It could be siblings. It could be a spouse. It could be someone that's older than you. It could even be someone that's younger than you that believes in the plan. I keep hearing the plan. Bottom of the deck. Yeah. Father of Cups. Yeah. The Black Swan, right? So again, there's like this ugly duckling energy coming in where it's like you're the oddball out. You're the oddball out, but emotionally stable. Source is saying keep relying on that part of yourself, because that's going to get you to where you need to go. Whew. What else for pile number 3, Source? The tea you need. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, house 3. Look at this. Early learning. Childhood relations. The rational mind and communication. So this is, you're bringing in ideas that literally crack open their rational mind, the way they see the world, the logic in which they see the world from. You're cracking that open. You're destroying that foundation, and it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. I mean, I think about the times when you've had your foundation questioned and you've had to grow from that, right? That was highly uncomfortable on your journey, right? So, and they're fighting it. They're having a huge issue with resistance here. Like, they're just like, nope, I'm being stubborn. I don't want to change. I don't want to see this from a different place. So they're really feeling it. I hope your tea is delicious. I just want to say that. If you got coffee, I hope your coffee is delicious. If you got water, I hope your water is delicious. Whatever you're drinking, I hope it's delicious, because you deserve that. Accountability. Boom. They don't want to take accountability for the part they've played. Responsibility is a gift of love to yourself and others. Taking accountability for believing in a system that's been failing for longer than they care to admit. I mean, it's like basically saying I've been wrong my whole life, and because I chose not to question it, like, who does that make me? What does that make me? And that's what they're fighting right now. And that's why they're fighting you so hard. And that's why you're going through this state of emotional exhaustion and spiritual burnout right now, because you don't want them to suffer, but they don't see it that way. They're not seeing it from the state that you're seeing it. You're doing your best to just help them alter just something small. It's like, if I could just help them see something small, like that it's not all about money, or that it's not all about going and working 1,000,000 hours a week, that it's about living your life and finding a passion. Like, if I could just convince them of one of these things, then they wouldn't suffer so bad. But all of those things that you're trying to convince them of are the very foundations that they've built their entire lives on. And they're standing at the top of the tower, honey. And if you break down that tower, that's a long way to fall down. And it does not look inviting. And it does not look like fun. It looks rather scary and painful. And that's the only thing. And that's why they're gripping onto the top of that tower with all their might and strength. And they refuse to let you bring in your chisel and hammer. Bully. And that, okay. And this is why they're bullying you too. That's why I'm saying there's a lot of harsh energy here. There's a lot of harsh energy that's coming through. So this highlights your tendency to intimidate others and helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. And I feel like that's what you're doing, but they're not, right? The shadow conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're attacking you verbally because it's the only way they feel like they can protect themselves. The only way that they feel like they can stay up in their tower. They're waiting for their knight in shining armor, or their dame in shining armor, or their person in shining armor to come and save them. And they're not realizing that they're the only ones that can save themselves. And they think that you're the ogre, or that you're the dragon, or you're the bad wizard that's coming in creating havoc for them, or the mage, or whatever, you know. Like, they feel like you're the person that's trying to destroy a whole lifetime of belief. So we have Venus here, right? Attracting abundance. And that's what you're doing, but you're doing it by sharing your wisdom. And it's going to come to people, like with the 11th house, you're going to attract people who appreciate what it is that you have to share. And I feel like there are people who do appreciate you. 6th house, get real with responsibilities. We have responsibility and accountability here. So again, with responsibility is a gift, right? Responsibility is a gift. Now it's time for you to take responsibility for yourself. Stop trying to carry these people. Stop trying to convince them. Look, I'm guilty of this too. You know, you love who you love. You can't help it. And you don't want to see them suffer. And you're just like, oh, maybe if I just talk about it in passing, it won't be that big of a deal. But then you get so exhausted from it because it creates an argument, or it creates, you know, a lot of weird tension between you and them. And it's like, but I didn't mean for it to be that way. And of course you didn't. You went in there with the best of intentions, but they didn't see it that way. They see it as being attacked because they're coming from their emotional, immature state of mind. And they don't see it from that secure emotional place that you've come from. Okay. Yeah, Trine, things are magically aligning. So things are working out for you right now. Even though you have these people in your life, there's this energy that's surrounding you right now. It's not very nice. It's not very kind. They're very cruel. But I feel like the thing is that you're coming into a state. There's something here. There's a shift that's happening where you're going to be walking away from them. And you're going to be choosing yourself, or you're going to be moving away from this situation, or they're going to vibe out of your life. So they're not going to be contacting you as much anymore. They're not going to be calling you as much anymore. Like, they're going to put distance between you and them because they don't like it. They don't like where you're coming from. Longing for love, loneliness. See, and the thing is they're very lonely on their journey, and they're longing to see the world from the place that you are. But because it asks something that is so uncomfortable of us, they'd just rather sit back and watch you enjoy your life while also trying to tear you down at the same time. Right? So it's like, well, if they do it, they do it. But, you know, I'm going to make sure that I create a lot of noise in the process because I don't want to be alone. Misery loves company, and they don't want to be alone. They don't want to be the only one that's experiencing this hardship. Your commitment is being tested, the first quarter moon. So Source is asking you to stay true to your journey right now. Okay, that's why this is coming up. Your commitment is being tested. I feel like I want to get, yeah, I want to get one of these, and then we'll check out the rest of your cards here. It's this one. They said one more. Okay. What was the other one you wanted? Source for pile 3. That's the one right there. Thank you. Gracias, gracias. Yeah. To stop. It's time to stop. It's time to stop trying to make them feel better. It's time to stop trying to get them to see things your way. It's just let them suffer. And I know that's hard. Oh, I know it's hard. It's hard because we love who we love. We love who we love, but also you can only help those who want to be helped. Everyone else is going to expect you to do all the work for them and to carry them, and or to believe in how they feel about things and make you, and they want to make you change who you are, right? Yeah, South Node, destined to release. This is something you're supposed to let go of. And it is uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable letting go of what we're comfortable with. So you're saying, like, if this is family, even if the situation was highly uncomfortable, it's just what we're familiar with, and that's what makes it comfortable, right? And so it's letting that go. Trusting tricksters. Wow, what a powerful card. The trickster's only power is your trust. You are always free to withdraw it. Okay, so again, withdrawing your trust from them. They're not going to ever see eye to eye with you, right? That's just it. You're already on a different level, and they're just trying to bring you down. Yeah, emotional energy. Emotions are messages to be met with appropriate attention, action, and gratitude. So yeah, listening to your emotions, trusting your intuition here, and remembering that if it hurts, it's okay that it hurts, right? Feeling into that. And I feel like that's something that we need to talk a lot more about in the spiritual community, is that, like, pain and suffering is gonna come up no matter what. We're on this human experience, and we're experiencing the whole spectrum of emotions. And when people treat us, especially people we love, like, especially if this is family, right? Or even if it's friends or just people you really care about, if they don't treat us the same way we treat them, we take that personal. Or we're like, why can't you just treat me the way I treat you? But it's because no one's going to treat us the same way we treat them, because no one is us. But it's hard for us not to be attached to that. And it's hard not to take it personal. And it's hard not to see the pain in that. And that what I'm saying is that it's okay for you to feel the pain from that, right? That's a messenger for you. And that can be a key for you to gather additional strength and stamina moving forward, and resiliency against something that has otherwise time and time and time and time and time put you down. Okay, damsel. Oh my gosh, wasn't I saying, like, they're waiting up in their freaking tower for their knight to come through? They're a damsel in distress. That's what they are. It doesn't matter if they're a guy, a girl, non-binary, whatever they identify with. They're playing the victim right now. They're playing like they have no options except to hold on to this tower and hope that their system becomes the truth. Right? So we have the light attributes is understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself, right? You're just trying to hold the mirror up to them. But it's almost like you're acknowledging that too. You're like physically trying to hold the mirror up to them. And every time they're the ones that are breaking the mirror, right? And so the shadow is here. Look at this. Waiting for a knight to provide for you. Seduction by romantic illusions. Oh my gosh, Source. They're waiting for their knight or their dame to come and rescue them. And you're not it. You're not it. Like, they don't like the way that you're coming in. And it's not that you're not it. I actually think that you're giving them a bridge to freedom. But they don't like that bridge because it's scary, or because they have to walk down too many stairs, or they have to put in effort. That's the thing. They have to put in effort. They don't like that. Addictions. Reactive behaviors, reclaiming your power. Yeah, so they're lashing out. So they're lashing out because they want to hold on to what they believe in. They want to hold on to what they know. Adjustments are required. The third quarter moon. You got both quarter moons out here, right? First quarter and third quarter. Yeah, so adjusting how you're showing up when it comes to this type of energy. It's not your job to save everybody. You have to save yourself. That's the only thing that's required of you, pile 3. And if you share that knowledge with others, then it's up to everyone else whether or not they choose to save themselves. But what Source is saying with the stop card is to stop dragging people along. They're only weighing you down. They're only being an anchor. They're stubborn and rooted into the ground, and it's only creating trauma and trouble for you. Let it go. Let it go. Even though you love them, sometimes we just have to watch from a distance and let people live their own lives, because that's their lives to live. We don't have control over that. We only have control over ours. No. Pain. I can't. There's a lot of pain here. And as I was saying, like, I feel like you really care about these people. Like, even if they're narcissistic, even if they're manipulative, even if they're very cruel to you, there's something about the station that they hold in your life, the label, the position that they hold in your life. There's something that in your heart of hearts, you're feeling like, I have to love this person. I have to be kind to them. I have to be compassionate to them. I know not everybody's going to resonate with that. And I can appreciate that too, because you learned early on that doing so only created more pain. But there's somebody here who needs to hear this. Remember that love is not holding their hand. Love and unconditional love is I accept you as you are, knowing that if you're toxic or not healthy for me, it's okay for me to walk away. But I can still love you from a distance. I don't have to be involved with you to love you, right? Think about people that have left your life. It's like you might still love them, but you have no contact with them, right? It's the same thing with people who hold titles or specific positions in our lives. Sometimes we have to choose that, right? And rejection. Yeah, so there's a lot of pain and rejection here when it comes to these people, whoever they are. They've rejected you, and we talked about this whole time. Like, this is the last card that came out. Like, Source wanted another card to come out, and that's interesting because the rejection card, it's very clear about how they have not accepted you as you, and that hurts. And it's like, I accept you as you. Why can't you accept me? But see, again, we're taking it personal. We're expecting them to show up as us, and they can't. They just don't have the capacity to show up in that place. They don't even have the capacity to accept you because they don't accept themselves. Right? So let's take a look at this card. We're going to read this one from the book and find out what it says. What do you feel? Right? Apples and oranges. You can't compare apples and oranges. They're two different things. But it's like how you're viewing the world. I know you see it from this place of love. I know you see it from this place of light. Like, if only everybody liked each other and got along and stopped being so cruel and difficult to one another, the world would be a vastly different place. And yes, pile 3, it absolutely would. But right now, you're feeling a lot of pain from this situation. You're the one that's suffering. So how do you feel? And know that that matters too. Stop putting your emotions on the back burner, right? Emotional energy, they're messages, right? How do you feel? What do you feel? Let's see what this says from the book. Tell you everything's a-okay. Medication don't do much. This song is coming through. Yeah. Just numbs the brain. You might say I'm a little intense. On the bright side of being hell-bent. So take it from me, you're not the only one who can't see straight. If you were ever in doubt, don't sell yourself short. You might be bulletproof. Hard to move mountains when you're paralyzed, but you gotta try. And I'm calling out, get out, get out, get a move on. Get up, ain't nothing wrong. Get out, get a move on. Stop stalling, I'm calling out. Get out, get a move on. Get out, what's taking so long? 'Cause I can be whatever, and I know you can do much better. Trust me. Yeah, so it's interesting because it was coming in. It's like you're not, like, that's the thing. It's like they're not the only ones that have the straight path. You're also not the only one that has the straight path. Everybody's paths are going like this around the world. And we can expect them to show progress with our path, but maybe they can't because our path doesn't resonate with them. But if our path doesn't resonate with them, we have to choose it for ourselves, right? Get out, get a move on. What's taking so long? Stop stalling. I'm calling. It's like you're being called home. You're being called by your intuition. Wow, that's really strong. It came through at the very last minute here. It says there are many options, or there are many opinions around you. That's the first line here. Some are helpful, but others are distracting from your truth. Although it can be helpful to hear the thoughts of others, when it comes down to it, you will have to come to your own decision. And this is the same for the people around you too. Do you know how unique you are? How your path is your path to be chosen, lived, and created only by you. Someone else cannot become the source of your decision-making power without negative repercussions for both of you in the long run. And that means that we can't do that for others, pile 3. This oracle comes to you because you've become swept up in thinking things through. You've been thinking about which way to go with a matter of importance. You've got a bit stuck in logic of the decision-making process. Sometimes we have to accept that any path is a path forward, and if it is not the best path, we can change our approach later on if needed. If we are slightly off base with a decision, life will often shift and move to guide us back to track. We don't have to be perfect. In fact, there is rarely ever a perfect choice to be made, just some choices that feel more heart-honoring than others. Sometimes we can only really know in hindsight if we made the best choice possible in that moment. At the time of decision-making, we only really have our internal wisdom to rely upon. That is all we need. This oracle is telling you that there is no need to punish or traumatize yourself with possible choices. Just making a choice will set things in motion. The best way to catalyze the situation you're in and bring about healing change, stimulate your creative juices, and find a more inspired, energized, and enjoyable approach to your life is just to make a choice based on what you feel right now, not based on anyone else's feelings, just yours. So ask yourself, what do I feel right now? And go from there. If you cannot relate to the need to make a choice between 2 or more clear alternatives, then the oracle brings you this message. You are at a crossroads in your journey with the choices you make at this time. Even simply choosing to do things a little differently without much drama associated with the decision are powerful triggers for some great magic to enter your life. Take a different approach to something. Be open to that which makes you uncomfortable, but could be exciting and interesting. Even small adventures will yield big rewards right now. It matters less that you do the most wonderful thing ever, too much pressure, and more that you simply take action from your heart. Open up to the creative magic of life and don't worry about how it is all going to work out. The bigger creative flow of life is sorting out all the details, and you are not immune to the plan. In fact, you are a natural part of it. So just spend some time with your own feelings and know that all is going to work out perfectly. Yeah, so again, your emotional energy right now, your emotions are asking for you. And that's why I feel like White Source is saying, like, grab a cup of tea, because we got to talk about this. Like, if we don't talk about this clearly, like, it's like you're just going to keep going back to try to help this person. And look, I want you to know I'm guilty of this too, pile 3. There's somebody in my life that I've gone back hundreds, maybe thousands of times, just because I love them so much, even though we do not have a good relationship, even though we're just kind of, I wouldn't say estranged from one another. We're just not that close. We don't, like, I know this person in and out, but they don't know me. They choose not to know me. They choose not to care about what it is that I'm doing, but I can't help but love them and feel like I owe them some sense of loyalty or some sense of my time and energy because of the connection that we have in our lives, right? It's family to me, and that means something to me. But realizing that family sometimes isn't the family that you're born with. It's the family that you get to create on this journey, which holds a much greater position in your life, can be freeing as well. And just know that this is still something that I too am working on. And it's going to take time, and that's okay, right? That's okay. This is not something that you need to change overnight, and it's not something worth beating yourself up over when you happen to fall back into old patterns. It's just being aware of those patterns when they rise up and knowing that it's okay. I'm gonna choose myself next time, and then do that and hold that promise to yourself. And if you falter, just being aware is what's gonna help you make it through. Okay. You're doing an incredible job. This was a very deep reading. It went on for a lot longer than I was planning, but it's a very deep reading that came through today for you, okay? So this is what I see for you today, pile number 3. If you felt like this is your reading, leave the little world emoji down below and say, I understand that I am a part of the plan. And while I am eliciting change, there are some people that I cannot affect simply because the rejection is too profound, and I let go with love in my heart and clarity in my eyes. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. So with that, I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very profound message today. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye.